Hello and welcome. You're watching WION World is One with me, Diksha Bisla, and this is Speed News. Let's get you started with the first story. A US military contracted plane crashed in a rice field in the southern Philippines, killing all 4 people on board. Now, the victims included 1 US service member and 3 defense contractors. The aircraft was providing intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance support to Philippines. After Panama president denies agreement with United States on free passage, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says it is absurd for US naval vessels to pay to transit the Panama Canal. He, however, stopped short of insisting that an agreement has been reached. US President Donald Trump slapped sanctions on the International Criminal Court for what he called illegitimate and baseless investigations targeting America and its ally Israel. He was referring to ICC probes into alleged war crimes by US service members in Afghanistan and Israeli troops in Gaza. Trump signed an executive order saying the court in The Hague had abused its power by issuing an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who held talks with the US president on Tuesday. He ordered asset freezes and travel bans against ICC officials, employees and their family members, along with anyone deemed to have helped the court's investigations. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio is all set to visit West Asia from February 13th to 18th, with stops in Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. This trip comes after US President Donald Trump's controversial remarks on relocating Gaza's population. Rubio will also attend the Munich Security Conference before heading to West Asia. His trips aim to continue discussions on Gaza's future and reconstruction. Recovery crews pulled the wreckage of a US Army Black Hawk helicopter from the Potomac River on Thursday, which is 1 week after it was involved in a deadly collision with a passenger jet near Washington. The crash occurred last Wednesday night, killing everyone on board the aircraft. The US Army Corps of Engineers has said that all major components of both aircraft had now been removed from the river. Taiwan Defense Ministry states it detected 9 Chinese aircraft, 6 naval vessels, and 6 balloons off the island as Beijing maintains military pressure to push its claim of sovereignty. The ministry said that the balloons were spotted at an altitude of 16,000 feet to 20,000 feet, and one of them directly flew over the island. "61 victims rescued from telecom fraud operations in Myawaddy, Myanmar that have been handed over to Thai authorities. Among those rescued were 39 Chinese, 13 Indian, 1 Kazakh, 5 Indonesians, 1 Ethiopian, 1 Pakistani and 1 Malaysian. The Myanmar Border Guard Force handed them over to Thai authorities at the second Thai-Myanmar bridge in Mae Sot district of Tak province, according to the Bangkok Post. The rescued victims were welcomed by Thai Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence Phumtham Wechayachai, who were on inspection trip in the border region. Russell Vought has been confirmed as the new budget director by the Republican-led US Senate with a vote of 53-47. Now, this decision puts Vought, a hardline conservative, in charge of government funding. Vaught's confirmation came after a marathon overnight session where Democrats criticized him as a dangerous far-right ideologue and accused Republicans of rubber-stamping Trump's nomination. Notably, Vought has previously headed the Office of Management and Budget during Trump's first term and had expressed concern about a 1974 law that prevents presidents from unilaterally blocking congressionally approved funding known as impoundment. Campaigning for Ecuador's presidential election came to an end on Thursday, with candidates hosting large rallies and giving their final speeches ahead of Sunday's ballot. The vote featured 16 candidates, including incumbent President Daniel Noboa and leftist lawyer Luisa Gonzalez, whom he defeated in the 2023 runoff of a snap election. Now, triggered by the decision of then-President Guillermo Lasso to dissolve the National Assembly and shorten his own mandate as a result, Noboa held his closing rally in the Ecuadorian capital, Quito. Voting in Ecuador is mandatory from midnight on Thursday, and electoral silence has been established by law, which will last until after the voting. Turkey marked 2 years since the deadliest and most destructive earthquake in modern Turkish history, with politicians visiting towns hit hardest by the quake. The quake and its aftershocks rattled 11 Turkish provinces in the southeast and parts of northern Syria, killing more than 55,000 people and injuring more than 107,000. Leaders of the main opposition Republican People's Party and pro-Kurdish Dem Party visited graveyards and talked to families of the victims. President Tayyip Erdogan attended a collective opening ceremony held for new facilities built in the affected provinces. Iran has condemned new financial sanctions by the United States that target Iranian entities accused of selling crude oil to China. Iran Foreign Ministry spokesman in a statement said that the move is categorically unjustified and contrary to international rules. In line with market expectations, the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee cut the key repo rate by 0.25% to 6.25%. This is the first rate cut in nearly 5 years as the central bank shifts focus to supporting economic growth. The decision was unanimous, with the RBI maintaining a neutral policy stance. In his first policy decision, new RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra cited moderating inflation as a key reason, with price levels now aligning closer to the 4% target. And before this move, the RBI had kept the repo rate steady at 6.5% for 11 straight meetings. Asian stocks inched up ahead of key US payroll data as investors considered prospects that a broader trade war could be averted. The Japanese yen hit its highest in nearly 2 months on rising odds of more rate hikes in Japan this year. In a week that started with US President Donald Trump kicking off a trade war, first by imposing tariffs on Mexico and Canada and then pausing them, Investors have been hesitant in making major moves as threatened duties on China were implemented. While political uncertainties have kept investors wary, fears have eased that Trump's approach to tariffs could escalate into a global trade war. A Reuters report suggests that U.S. job growth likely slowed in January, partly restrained by wildfires in California and cold weather across much of the country, though not enough for the Federal Reserve to resume interest rate cuts before the end of the first half. The Labor Department closely watched employment report on Friday will be distorted by annual benchmark revisions, new population weights as well as updates to the seasonal adjustment factors, the model the government uses to strip out seasonal fluctuations from the data. Labor market resilience is the driving force behind the economic expansion and has given the U.S. Central Bank room to pause rate cuts while policymakers assess the impact of the fiscal, trade, and immigration policies of President Donald Trump's administration, deemed by economists as inflationary. Amazon shares tumbled over 4% in extended trade, wiping out nearly $90 billion in market value. Now, this comes after its quarterly earnings report flagged concerns. Slower than expected growth in Amazon Web Services has emerged as a key issue. CEO Andy Jassy blamed chip supply constraint for holding back AWS expansion. Adding to investor worries, Amazon's revenue forecast fell short of expectations. The broader concern lies in big tech's massive AI-driven spending, with Amazon CFO confirming capital expenditures will remain high this year. As cloud giants like Microsoft and Google also report weak growth, investors are questioning return to heavy investments. Oil is headed for a third straight weekly decline as concerns over demand outweigh geopolitical risks. Brent crude is nearly $75 per barrel, down nearly 3% this week. The drop comes as President Trump slaps tariffs on China, raising fears of weaker global oil demand. While fresh U.S. sanctions on Iran were announced, they fall short of the promised maximum pressure campaign. Market concerns of an oil glut later this year are further fueled by Trump's push for highest U.S. production. European crude prices have also slumped, and technical indicators suggest oil may be oversold. Defending champions Liverpool have punched their ticket to Wembley after beating Tottenham Hotspur in the EFL Cup semi-final. Arne Slot's side will now take on Newcastle United for the title. Liverpool had to overturn a one-goal deficit from the first leg. Cody Gakpo broke the deadlock after the first half-hour mark. Liverpool took the lead in the tie when Mohamed Salah converted a penalty 5 minutes into the second half. Dominic Sabo's slice slammed out any chance of an unlikely comeback by the visitors in the 75th minute. Skipper Virgil van Dijk headed home to complete the road.